Hello everyone, my name is Anders Jönsson and I live in Stockholm, Sweden, and I am the founder and creator of the project Nocturnal Abbey. I've been doing music for many years in different genres, mostly in heavy metal, and this is my first attempt at doing some more doom and gothic metal. I was born in the late 70s and I've been starting doing music when I was about 12 or 13. Started to playing in a band like many others do. And at that time, we were very influenced by bands like AC/DC, Metallica, Megadeth, all the good, great thrash bands that are around. And that was where my journey started in the metal. And then I've been doing that for a couple of years, and then the band split up as many bands do, and I was forced to figure out what to do next. And I did a couple of songs of my own and feel a little about and doing some own production. And at that time it was not as easy, but there were coming more programs and plugins that made it possible to do things yourself. And I started a project called Unveil, which is also a kind of thrash metal with the influence of metalcore and death metal and a whole lot of other genres as well. And that was going on a couple of years. And it didn't happen much, didn't get too much feedback and didn't get anywhere. But still, it's kind of music I like. But I have always been interested in the doom and gothic metal too. I remember the first time I heard Mydyingbride, The Cry of Mankind, that tapping intro, which goes on through the whole song. And that was my first meeting with that kind of music, and I kind of fell in love with it, and I've been listening to a different metal bands since then in the same genre, like Draconian, Swallow the Sun, and I've always been interested in doing that kind of music myself someday, and last year I decided to give it a chance. And I've been doing the songs for the album that came out on the 4th of October this year, The Great Blackened Swan. And I started that record in late autumn last year. So it's been about a year with Nocturnal Abbey. As I said, I've been listening to this kind of music here for many years now. I was trying to come up with something that had the same feel and the same tension and the atmosphere, which I like in that kind of music. So I was working, just doing a couple of riffs and a couple of melodies just to see if something could come up. And I thought it started to sound really good. And then after a couple of weeks doing that kind of riffing and melodies, I started to try to make some kind of song out of it. And then, of course, it goes back and forth. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And so my process is usually need some time to figure out how to make it work and sound really good. Usually I just start with doing some guitar, and that's my main instrument. And then I just apply synthesizer, drums and bass and so on, and try to move things around, play with it a bit, try to feel what's going on. And then usually I need a break, and I come back to it maybe like a week or two after, and I listen to it again and see if it still hold up, is it still sounding good. And then I change a lot again, and that's a process that goes on for many times. And then it comes down to doing some vocals on it. I do all the lyrics. Writing that is a big part of Nocturnal Abbey. So that I think is important, that it had that feel and some kind of story that resonates with me. But then I'm not a singer, so I need help with doing that lovely voices on the songs. And I've been using in my earlier band Unveil, using Fiverr to search for vocalists that help out with that kind of stuff. And so this time also I was searching, trying to find the right singers. And I think I found some really good ones that could help me make this project come alive, because the music doesn't make the song. I think the vocals is really important. So I was searching around there and found a couple of singers that I liked. And I send them all the files that I have about the music and the lyrics, and then they give their take on it and do the vocal melodies and so on, and record it, adding harmonies, etc. So that's usually how the process goes. And then when I get everything back, I start mixing, and sometimes also add or take some things away because it didn't work when the vocals was on it. But then it's just like mixing and mastering and making it a great package to release. And as I said, I'm just a one-man army doing all things, so everything goes back to me, and all making sure that the music comes out to people and that it sounds as good as it can. And then I'm not a super producer or a mixing engineer, but I do as good as I can. So the album has a kind of a story. The story is just in my head, and the lyrics reflects upon that. Now the lyrics, this isn't a concept album in that kind of way, and so you can't follow a story from the start to the beginning. But all the songs have a certain amount of atmosphere or has some substance which reflects out of that story that goes on in my head. So it kind of connects together with each other, but it also is lyric, and it should be up to everyone to interpret it themselves and feel what they feel when they hear the music and listen to the lyrics. And so it's not like some story that you can follow from start to finish. But I think that the lyrics are quite a bit important in this kind of music. It always sets the tension, and the atmosphere with the music must resonate with the lyrics and so on. So I hope those people who listen can feel that in some way. And that is usually how I make music. I have some kind of feeling inside of me, or some kind of short story, or like a music clip that is like rolling on inside my head, and I try to make that a kind of a song out of that. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it have a great deal of that story inside the music, but sometimes it just takes another way, and instead it makes a new kind of entity for itself. But that is, as I said, it's important that it works together in a good way, and it should also be a lyric that you can sing, so it sounds good when my singers do all their vocals and harmonies, and it must sound good too. But I will talk a little about that later. I have an idea how to more release this kind of story that is going inside my head in this world of Nocturnal Abbey. So far, I have received pretty good feedback from people that have listened to my music. The comments below the videos that I make. It's just short, easy lyric videos, but it kind of portrays a little bit about the music, and I try to make it the same atmosphere and the same feeling that I have in the music. Yes, it's as I said, I'm just a one man doing all the things. This isn't a real band that can just hop on a bus and drive around and do all the shows, which is which I'm a little bit sad about, but that's the way it is nowadays. You're just doing music and try to do everything else with the commercials or ads or lyric videos and mixing and mastering and all the things. And talking about the music like I'm doing now. But that I knew from the beginning, so it wasn't really meant to start touring after releasing the first album. It's just, this is my way of telling everyone about my music and what I feel about things. So that's what from the beginning, that was the whole idea. But in the future, who knows what happens? It depends a bit how everything goes. I got some good news. We are keeping the tempo in Nocturnal Abbey and still doing music, of course, even though we just released the album. More music will, of course, be released soon. And as I said before, I wanted to make something out of all the lyrics and that story that is going around inside me. And I decided to do a kind of a short story or novel or what or how to define it, just to have it have the possibility to release it and make people more interested in the music and Nocturnal Abbey and what's it all about. So I've been writing the last couple of weeks. And of course, as I said, the album is not a concept album. You can't follow a story from the start to the beginning. So I had to take all those ideas and images that I have inside me and try to make a story out of it. And what come next to me was, of course, a merge story, which can do a lot of things with. And of course, all the feelings and the horrible things that can happen and the darkness and everything about that is also incorporated into that. And I think the ones that have listened to my music will also resonate with this novel or short story, so to speak. And as I said, I'm also making a new music. I will release a new song in the late of November, I think, hopefully. And it will be a little bit long song with 3 different singers. And it will also have a little more connection to the short story. So hopefully I can release those at the same time and make it a little bit more worth of that package for releasing for you guys, which I hope you will like. And I'm also working a little bit with merchandise, trying to make some designs for t-shirts and so on. And that will hopefully also be available in the end of November. I'm working so hard as I can. I also have a day job, so I also have a day job. So I also have a day job, which means that I haven't all the time in the world, but I'm putting all my spare time into this Nocturnal Abbey. So I hope this explains a little bit about this project and what it's all about and a little bit about me. And hopefully I will try to do a couple of updates for the short story and the merchandise and the new song that's coming out in late November. And until then, I hope everyone has a nice day and a great autumn. See you later.